Welcome to the virtual training for the updated South Carolina VERSYS system that will be used for registration, issuance, and all other functions performed in relation to vital events by the Bureau of Vital Statistics and its stakeholders. This training will cover basic login and navigation of the system. This system is entirely web-based and is accessible through a URL that will be provided to authorized users of the system. It has been thoroughly tested across a wide variety of browsers, including Internet Explorer, Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Safari, and more. Official testing for Edge browsers is ongoing. However, our internal users have accessed and used the system in this browser without problems to date. This is the welcome page that must remain open in the background to allow the system to function. When logging into the system, it will display in a separate window. To function properly, the site will require that browser permissions to enable pop-ups are allowed. We will demonstrate how to do this within the browser a little later in the training. Additionally, there is a plugin that should be installed the first time the system is accessed called GenPrint that will ensure that the local printer interfaces properly with the system. It is located at the bottom of the page and will show an option for Windows or Apple computers. Select the appropriate option for your computer and it will download a file to install. Follow the prompts to properly install the GenPrint plugin. After the plugin is installed, you will not be required to do this step again. Allowing the necessary permissions for the website and installing instructions for GenPrint plugin may look slightly different from what is shown in this training based on your browser and operating system. To log into the VERSYS system, simply click on the button located on the welcome screen. This will redirect you to a confidentiality page. Click Yes and you will be directed to the login page. When your account is created, you will be assigned a unique username and a temporary password. If your account was ported from the previous system, your username will remain the same, but you will similarly be assigned a temporary password. The first time a user logs in will require a password reset. The password must meet specific security requirements that will be shown in a moment. Passwords will expire after 6 months, and the user will be required to change their password in the same way. After logging in with the correct username and password, you will be directed to a location selection screen. If you only have one location assigned in the system, it will be pre-populated in this drop-down, and you can simply click OK to enter the system. If you have multiple locations, such as individuals that may work at more than one hospital or funeral home, the drop-down will appear blank and you will be required to select a location where you want to log in. After you select a location, you can click OK. The first time you log in and each time your password expires, you will be prompted to change your password. The security requirements for passwords are displayed on this screen. You will be asked to enter the previous password and create a new password that meets the requirements displayed. Click Save to enter the system. As mentioned previously, the web-based system requires that pop-up blockers are disabled for this page. After you click OK, your browser may prompt you where you can enable pop-ups for this page. Methods for disabling pop-ups will vary from browser to browser. The main content screen is referred to as the Global tab. From this tab, you will be able to access a number of functions and tools that will be demonstrated in this training. The other tabs will offer access to specific event modules assigned to the user. Other event-specific functions will be covered in additional trainings. This user has only been granted additional death permissions and therefore only has that tab available. Under the function menu, there is an option to switch location, which will redirect the user to the location selection screen. The username and password is not required to be re-entered to switch locations. The option to exit the application is also located under the function menu. If you are not sure about what location you are logged in under, you can hover your mouse above the icons in the top right-hand corner that will display your username and location. The Tools menu item has the option to change the user's password, to update the user parameters, to access the printer setup, email directory, and to update your profile. The Change Password page is the same page that the user was originally directed to after they logged into the system with their temporary password. The printer setup page will allow a user to designate where they would like different types of documents to print from. If no printer settings are established from this page, all documents will automatically be sent to the user's default printer. So it is not a necessary step if the user is not using multiple trays or multiple printers. The user selects a printer and a tray where they want specific documents to be printed from. Then they select the documents that are to be printed from that printer and tray. Multiple documents can be selected by holding the Control key. After the documents are allocated to the correct tray, the user will click Save. They can then change the tray or printer and allocate new documents to print from that printer and tray. Documents may only be assigned to one printer at a time. In order to reassign a document, you must return to the tray that it was originally allocated to, remove it, and save. The new document can then be allocated to the new tray. When the user is finished on any of the tools screens, they can return to the Home Global page by clicking on the Functions menu and clicking Home. The User Parameters page allows the user to update colors shown for the text fields in the system. The user can change the text color or the background color to a color that they prefer to see on the page. The user selects the color range and the specific color within that range that they would like to see, and clicks the color wheel button in the right-hand corner to set the color. A different color can be selected for the text and background of unresolved fields, resolved fields, and the focus field that displays where the user's cursor is located. Once the desired colors are selected, the user can click Save. If the user wants to revert to the initial values set by the system administrator, they can click Reset to Initial Values. The Update Profile tool allows a user to update their name and contact information as it may change. It also allows a user to generate a new PIN if they feel that their original PIN has been compromised or they cannot remember it. The newly generated PIN will then be emailed to the user's email that is listed on their profile. The system has an automatic timeout feature. After 15 minutes of inactivity, a countdown timer will appear that will allow the user time to extend their session if they are still working in the system. When the timer reaches 0, the user will automatically be signed out and will have to re-log in using their username and password. Thank you for watching the general user training for the updated Versus module used by the Bureau of Vital Statistics and its shareholders. Additional module-specific trainings will follow.